project. Looks like we're up. Not exactly rich autumn colors, but something up there. A little bit of color on the tree. Hopefully another nice day today. Morning everybody. Nice clear day, yes. Beautiful clear day. You can't see the tree outside our place. It's now gone completely brown. There's no beautiful colors here. It's just gone brown. The one across the street is sort of a little bit dirty red. Japan doesn't really do the flaming thing that New England does. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are going to hustle this morning because today is my deadline. Dei-chan is coming about 10 o'clock today. She's going to do test printing on the first print in next year's subscription series, of which the last color separation is still here. So going to reach a warm 30 C today, not here in Tokyo, although it's not too cold this year here. It really isn't too cold. Yesterday was warm. We had the doors and the windows open. I had my thing off. It was shirt sleeve weather. It was a spring day yesterday. I think we'll tap this in here just a second. Make a bit of noise here. Short tap coming up. Headphone people, be careful. Short, sharp tap coming. 3, 2, 1. So the schedule today, we'll have carving. I'm going to paste this down in a minute, do a peel, try and get this finished. It should be okay. We've just got a basic color. This is the cloud area. In the original, they did it with a sort of yellow. It might have been intended to evoke the gold clouds. On the old screen paintings, these clouds and stuff to obliterate parts of the image were all done with gold in old screen paintings. And this might have been done to evoke that kind of a feeling. I have no idea what color we're going to do it in our own. So it's just this area, so it should be okay for me to get finished here this morning. And we're using the block. This is the back side of the one we did for the embossing block. So on this print, it turned out we've used 7 faces. And actually that's okay because there's one extra when we do the test printing, if it turns out we have another idea for something or I've screwed something up or we need to do more carving, there's one extra face. We can never have an odd number of faces, of course, because the wood comes, with 2 faces. Okay, the registration mark is a little bit off the corner. It's because there's a bit of a bad piece of wood here, which I don't want to be visible. So we've moved our paper up a little bit. Scorecards again. Should we try it from the corner? Usually I come all the way across. Let's try it from the corner. It probably won't come here. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Wee-oo. Actually, I should have shown you that before I pasted it down. Something I meant to show you. I'm sorry. You can see it now that's on the back. I printed the green. Oh no, we had the transfer sheet was printed with the key block lines, and it was also printed with the embossing lines, the Karazuri lines, these lines of the bird, which will be actually transparent in the finished print. But I have to know where I did the pine needles. So I printed that sheet last night, printed the pine needles in a light gray onto this sheet of paper. I meant to show you that first before I pasted it down. Anyway, you can see it now. So it's clear now. I need to carve a block for this background area, which was, the gold, omitting the birds, omitting the brown, and omitting the pine needles. And they're all clearly visible here. You guys are okay? Okay, I've got to get going. I've got to get going here. So let's get carving. This is also probably today the last time you were going to see these blocks, because I should be finished this now this morning. The blocks are going to go upstairs to Rei-chan. She's going to do the test printing. And at the moment, I have no idea what I will be doing in the next stream, Monday. There's endless work for me waiting, mostly office stuff, programming. I've got to do a new shopping cart because of the change in the postal regulations, and all that stuff is coming up. I've got to do the year-end update video, which will announce the new series. So I'm not sure what to be doing on stream times, We can't really run a stream where I sit there programming and you wrestle with that stuff. From here to the end of the year, for me, it's mostly office type stuff now, Okay, there was actually a couple of things I was supposed to mention this morning. I forgot again to make a list. But before I forget, I got an email. I got an email last week. Really, really interesting email. An issue that has been cooking since 2004. Got sort of resolved the other day by an email that came in from somebody. It's just a person I don't even know, not a regular customer. He saw we did a mailer 3 or 4 weeks ago showing some new prints. And in that, just let me show you the link. The guy sent me this link. I don't even know who this person was, but he sent this link. Anybody in the stream and chat here today speak Turkish or Turkish related? Here's a link to some scans of a magazine published decades and decades and decades ago. It all seems to be in Turkish. And scroll down. Oh, there's a comma in it. Whatever. You know how to do it. Copy and paste the whole thing into a URL. What has it got to do with our woodblock printmaking? If you scroll down in that content, I was astonished when I saw this. Absolutely astonished. It's the lady. So, it's the lady. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about here, I'll post another link. This is to my own website. This is my own website, 2004. And the story, rather than me tell you the story, no, whatever, it's there on my website. So this is it's a breakthrough in the mystery. The picture of the woman there in the magazine has a caption And when you copy and paste that caption, I can't copy and paste, but when you type it into Google Translate, it comes up with something like modern Central Asian woman. Modern Central Asian woman. But I have no idea when this magazine was published or anything about it. So if anybody has any knowledge of that language or what this is all about, I would love to hear about this. Do you recall how I came across the image in the first place? Yes. I thought it was in the story there. I know. I was in Yamada Shoten, one of the shops here in Jimbocho, and this would have been easily 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, when I was still doing the Poet series. I was a really good customer of theirs through the last years of that Poet series. The series had started to go well. I had a bit of money in my pocket. I wanted to collect prints. I wanted to see some of the old prints. So I was a regular customer of some of those print shops, Yamada Shoten among them. And one day when I'm in there, I had asked the guy, do you have any older paper left over from how did it start? Oh, I know, I had seen them. Somebody was behind the counter and they were chopping up books, old Edo-era books. We talked about this in a previous stream a little while ago. Dealers, they can't sell a whole book with 50 pages, but they can sell 50 single sheets easily, so they chop up old books. So I'd seen one of the clerks there cutting the strings, opening up old books, taking the print pages, cutting them apart. Then inside the old Edo-era books, quite often, you'd open the book and there's a couple of blank sheets, like we do in a modern book. There's blank pages at the front and back. And I'd seen the girl take some of these blank sheets. She'd pulled open a drawer beside her and thrown them in the drawer. It was a drawer kind of next to their office space. So there were drawers that customers could look in. And at the very bottom of this section, she'd pulled open this drawer, thrown these sheets there and slammed it shut. And I was interested in using some old paper to sort of do some test printing on. So I guess I must have asked her, hey, can I look in there, whatever, or something. I don't remember the exact conversation. She said, sure, go ahead, that's a junk drawer. Or whatever expression she used. There's nothing in there, just stuff. So I opened the drawer, and there's some of these sheets that she just put in there, and I said, can I buy some of these? I'd like to see some of this old paper. She says, well, you can whatever, you can take some stuff. I was a good customer first. So I dig in, I go through this drawer, there's this, there's a print in there, it's some hugely foxed print, they couldn't sell it, put it aside, dig in, and the print that is that old lady design was in there. I pull this out, And I'm like, I'm stunned by this. It's a woodblock print, beautifully, not foxed, not toned. It's old. It's 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, going by the paper. I said, well, what's this in here for? She says, well, we can't tell what it is. We don't know. It's just whatever. It's something. And I'm like, yeah, I got this print and some of these sheets of paper. Said, can I buy this? She says, well, whatever. Just take it. It's okay. Just take it. So I take it. I'm also buying some stuff that day. You know, I'm a regular customer. So the print came to me free. It was in the junk box of one of Tokyo's major print dealers. So somebody's saying it's a list of Turkish tribes and communities. That's what the book title is, Turkish Tribes. When you punch that into Google, it tells you that. So the print I've got gives every appearance of being made. It could be 40s, 50s, somewhere around there, 1940s, 1950s. I don't think it's 1960s. The paper is a bit more older and toned than that, the one I've got. There's no name, there's no nothing. It was made by professional craftsmen. It wasn't a rough Sosaku thing where some hobbyist was making a print by himself. The construction is professional construction. The design, as we now know, the design is clearly taken from a photograph. That was kind of obvious anyway, but now we have the photograph itself. The person who made the print reversed the photograph, or the photograph in that book is reversed from the same source that the printmaker used. I don't know which. And when I was showing that print at the exhibition after I made it, the Beauties of Four Seasons exhibition, a viewer did know something about it. She knew beadwork. And she said the beadwork on that headdress tells us that it's from somewhere near or in or around what they now know as Turkmenistan, which matches exactly what we see in this book. That's going to be sun. So did I have any right to use it in my Beauties of Four Seasons set? No, I have no idea who owns it. So I stole it. I did this, what do you call it? I don't know, break things and then ask for permission later or something. I forget the expression. I don't know. So there's information coming up here, is there? Good. It's also a bit of a relief for me, one thing, you know, I said when I made that print, I said I made it and sold it, and it's in our catalog now for sale. And we don't know who designed it. And there's this little detailed copyright, you know, we're not supposed to be selling woodblock prints of images that are not our permission. It's okay to deal with the one I'm doing now. It was designed somewhere in the 1700s. It's in the public domain. But that print that I reproduced could maybe not be in the public domain. And as I said, I took a chance, I did it, thinking that if the owner did come to light, that we would be able to make a deal at that point. Hey, you know, thanks for the design and we'll start paying you royalties and stuff like that. But now that I can see that the printmaker didn't actually create the thing by himself, it came from a photograph, I don't really think they have a chance to yell at me, you know. So the photographer could. So we'll see. One day, maybe somewhere along the line, the person who is responsible for making that print will come to light. We've Googled and reversed image search. I've been doing that for decades. You know, I don't know how this person who sent me the email, I don't know how he found that. Yeah, so there's rights, there's photography rights, there's the woodblock print rights. There are all these things. This is all a very vague thing. The point being that though the printmaker, even though he can claim rights in the woodblock print he made, it makes him a little bit more difficult for him to yell at me if it's something that he himself has sort of, quote, stolen, is what I was sort of getting at. So yeah, the printmaker does obviously have a copyright there. But if he also has done the same thing, I don't know how much he could yell at me, so whatever. Anyway, I'm almost certain all of these people are long gone now, so whatever. As I said, I took my chance. I published it, and I wrote this story when I published the print. It's there on the website. I linked to you. I told the story about how I had stolen it and said, if it turns out that somebody can come forward, please come forward, and we'll talk about paying royalties. So at least I was open to that extent about this whole thing. Now, what I would like to know about that book, that pamphlet, that thing about the Turkish tribes, is when that was done. Like, which of these came first? Well, no, I mean, was the print that I've got, the one that I got from Yamada Shoten, was it copied from that magazine, or did that magazine use the same source that the printmaker used? And what's the sequence of events here? Because my print and the one I copied from Yamada Shoten is reversed from what we see in the magazine. It's left-right reversal. Excuse me for keeping my head down here. I have just got to get this thing finished. As I said, she's coming this morning to print this, so I have really got to get this done. I should have worked on it last night, I guess, but whatever. Actually, it's funny, I was thinking about doing that last night, but I thought if I started last night and then opened up this stream now today at about this point, everybody would be yelling at me, how come you didn't do the peel on stream, so... So I waited, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just moved ahead with the work, Now here, an interesting point here. When I carved along these lines, this will be the yellow color, whatever. This will be outside. So I'm cutting not quite halfway through the line. I'm cutting maybe 2/3 of the way. 2/3 of the line inside, 1/3 outside, because the line will still be there on the finished print. Here, there's going to be no line. There's just going to be the green color of the tree pine needles and then the outside color. So where do I carve? What I'm doing is here, I'm carving now a little bit inside. I want these colors to overlap just a tiny bit. And because I know what colors we're going to be using, it's going to be some kind of green and some kind of probably light yellow. These are quite complementary, not complementary in terms of the opposites, like we talk about colors. These are, what's the word? I don't know. They're overlapping. Inside the green is yellow anyway. So these two can overlap quite nice, and it may not even be noticeable. The green will look perhaps a bit of a different tiny tint of green at the edge where the yellow is underneath it. If this was red and this was green, then we got a different problem because they don't match well at all. But yellow and green will blend together with no problem. So rather than leave a white gap that would show, I'm overlapping these just a smidgen. In places where there's a line, that's it, you just cut inside the line. Yesterday, a couple of staff on Yamada-san and Watanabe-san were here, and all day long they were taking photographs. We were shooting photographs for the collection all day long yesterday. Hundreds and hundreds more. They don't all go up overnight, of course. Watanabe-san now takes the information home. She gets busy with Photoshop, and bit by bit by bit, over the next week and couple of weeks, those prints will be added to the collection. But she shot hundreds of prints yesterday, including 2 more process of printing, where the colors add up to make the finished print. So we shot 2 of those yesterday. Not little ones, 2 big ones. They are Oban prints in a process sequence. Is the paper out? No paper's out. Dei-chan's coming today to do her test printing, but there's no batch of printing paper up there. She's just going to throw some water on some sheets and do a first quick test of this one. Then, if it looks like it's going to work out with no major changes, she will then cut a batch of paper ready for this. I did sizing, what day is it today? Saturday. I did sizing, was it Thursday? I can't remember. So all the paper for this first print, enough to make 200 copies, the sizing is done, and the paper's hanging up upstairs. And paper will have to come out Monday morning. I'll be here streaming Monday morning because Suga-san is coming Monday to do the printing, and she will give me the first batch of the New Year print. The one that Casey-san carved for us. The first batch will be done on Monday. Not enough time to show on the stream, but it will be done on Monday. We are really cooking. We're cooking with gas. We're going ahead really, really well. The first 3 prints for next year's series are going to be carved, all basically together. They'll all be finished this week, the carving. So I'm not sure what I should be doing next week on the stream. I really don't know. How's our time? 8:34. We're okay. Good. I'll be able to get this finished, I think. We do have a show and tell schedule today. A package arrived yesterday, something I picked up on an auction last week. It's a new one for me, a piece that I've never seen before. It's a print series that we know, but it's by a publisher I have very little stuff from in the collection. So it's an interesting item for me. I'm going to be interested in inspecting it. Any news on the new subscription? If you mean news and stuff on prices, I'm sorry. I said I can't do that yet. It's going to be well into December before I can make that announcement. And we still don't know what the post office is going to charge us to get these prints out of here. We still don't know. They're just in chaos. From our point of view as a consumer, the post office is in chaos. Their new system is partway under construction. We've taken samples of our subscription prints, the ones that we are posting now as Kogata Hosobutsu, small packet. We have taken them to the post office again. What will happen next year? Are you still going to accept this for North America? The rules in the post office are changing. The shipments to America need to be electronically certified, blah, blah, blah. We don't know what it's going to cost us for postage yet to ship to America next year. And until I find that out, I can't open the print series. And originally they had told us this was all going to be finished in November. And yeah, maybe it will be. It's still November. You couldn't make this up, you know. A national post office not knowing what they're going to be charging for something a month from now. Or even in what form they're going to accept it. It could be, to give them credit, it could be that it's the U.S. side that is, that they're stymied by lack of info from the U.S. side. Given what's happening in the U.S. right now, it's quite possible that the Japanese post office is not getting clear answers from that side. I don't know. We have no access to that, but it's quite possible that's the way the story is going. So. Then the other part of it is not post office related, it's currency. I have no idea. If you look at a chart of the U.S. currency versus the Japanese yen over the past year, it's a zigzag, but it's a zigzag with a long, slow decline. The American dollar has dropped in value tremendously against the Japanese yen all through the year. And because we set our subscription prices in the overseas, the customer's currency is the PIN. So collectors living in America pay the same price all year long in dollars. But because the American dollar has slid all year long against the yen, we here at Mokuhankan have received less money every month for this. I'm not complaining about it. We do price protection. But it does mean that when I do pin the price for next year, I have to keep in mind what happens if this happens again. So I have to set the price high enough that I can still survive even if it slides. So we're waiting, trying to get this election crap out of the way, let the American dollar stabilize. You think I've got it bad. People like Toyota and Sony and Nintendo and those guys, they're crazy with factories all over the world. What should they set their prices at? Toyota, eh? Crazy. Don't know how they do it. Okay, around and around and around and around. Where is Mr. Peace here? This hasn't cut yet. I didn't see a comment. I guess I didn't see comments. I'm sorry. Yeah, somebody said, why don't we do the stable price in yen? We used to do subscriptions. This is going back 15, 20 years. I used to set the price in the yen. And people didn't want to do this. Nobody wants to sign up. For example, a person living in America, if I set the price in yen, it's going to be 5,000 yen per month. You pay the exchange as it is that month. It means they don't know what the price is going to be next month. And you can't ask somebody to subscribe to a set of prints for a year without knowing what the price is going to be. It's just not fair. It's not fair. Many people wouldn't do that. So we accept the risk. I'm not complaining about the risk. I accept that we will carefully choose our price and give what we call price protection, that you'll subscribe for the year at that same price. It'll be whatever it is, $50 a year or something like this. And to me, that's common sense. I would not myself want to subscribe to something if I didn't know what the price was going to be. So I'm willing to take that risk, that's okay. But as part of mitigating that risk, I want to wait as long as possible till I see what the exchange rate at the beginning of the year will be. I'd rather just make prints, but unfortunately, there's no option to just make prints. It's running a business. Setting the paying the printers a certain price in January, then as the year goes by, the exchange rate goes wrong, and the printers like say, "Sorry, I can't afford to pay you that much anymore. Your price is going to get cut in half." You can't do that. Am I done? Oh no! I got to get some of these pine needles. Here, around these. A few more minutes, then some persuading. Okay, are we done? Is that all of it? All the pink. We're going to keep the pink, of course, get rid of the rest. Is everything cut? No, there's a line right there. Look at that. Missed that one. We are cut. You know what that means. Next. Stand by. Stream, chat. Oh, Andy the artist, they forbid naval personnel from visiting Tokyo. I'm sure it will change. whatever, all things for the best. You know, at the moment we don't need too much people traveling around, so whatever, no problem. We'll see you sometime, Andy, no problem. Lots of time. How long are you in Japan for? 3 years? Okay, for newcomers here, it's going to be a bit noisy. We have a compressor on the stream, limiter, compressor, whatever it is, I don't even know. So it shouldn't be too bad, but the next 3 or 4 minutes, next 5 or 10 minutes, next 10 minutes or so is going to be noisy. No ASMR here. And I can't really talk while I'm doing it, so, and in fact, I'll move, well, my mic is okay, whatever. So excuse me, you guys chat for a minute while I make some noise. I'm going to clear away around the outside of this pink area before getting back to quieter work. I've got to finish this by 9:30. Away we go. Oh, earthquake. Move the camera. Dave, move the camera. Seems okay. I marked it, it's here. Relax. This one's out of the way, but this one's dangerous. You guys would love nothing better than for me to take off the Kento, right? helicopter, unusual. This is a long weekend here in Tokyo, and on Monday is going to be a holiday as well. So Asakusa is going to be jumping. It was busy last night. There were drunks all night long out there, I say drunks, I mean, noisy, just people, whatever. Can't complain. You want to live in a bar district, that's what you get, so I can't complain. If I really wanted peace and quiet, I could go back to Ome. So no complaint, but complaint. Just, I don't know how those kids do it, all night long. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. There's people running down the street. A bunch of kids last night were skateboarding. It woke me up. I'm like, is it morning? No, it's too dark. Look at the clock, and it's like 2:15, and there's the skateboards going back and forth on the street. And I'm like, who's skateboarding at 2:30 in the morning in Asakusa? Like, it's the new world, And the sounds echo, because there's tall buildings. Right across the street, there's the hotel. So there's sort of an echo chamber kind of a thing, and the sounds echo. Okay, so much for this little guy. Let's get... Wrong way. Whichever way you go, it's the wrong way. Okay, this now is going to get noisy because the big chisel, really heavy-handed here. This next part is a bit noisy. Don't need that. How many kinds of cherry tree in Japan? Thousands. I have no idea. Thousands, thousands, thousands. I know personally I would recognize two of them. The standard park cherry tree with the blossoms is called Soumei Yoshino, and the one I know here is called Yamazaka, the mountain cherry. But there's way, 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 way more. All right, like John says, let's get for real. Excuse me, here we go. I made prints for about 10 years before I got this big wide chisel. I used to do this with a little scooper. I didn't know. I was just so stupid, you know, whatever. I had been thinking, you know, official printmaking tools. You know. This was when I was in Canada. I'd been thinking you need the official tools. You don't need the official tools. You need a chisel. But when I first saw him, must have been Ito-san, I guess I first saw him wheeling away with that thing. I'm like, oh my God, of course. Why didn't I do that? Get rid of some wood. So now this block wants to go this way. It doesn't want to go this way. So now, down from the top, we have a problem. This is against the grain of the wood. But because we're going downhill, I can maybe get away with it for a bit here. Let's see. I can get away that far, but I can't scoop out because we're against the grain. So what we'll do is we'll bring it just lightly. You're really waiting for me to cut that away. And now we'll try and go uphill with the grain. Meet in the middle. Okay, I think that's all the damage I can do with that stuff. Okay, how are we doing for time? 9 o'clock. Oh, I am not gonna make it. It's okay. I know I said Dei-chan's coming somewhere around 9:30. She hasn't even got some paper wet ready for this yet, so she's going to take the other blocks that I finished. She will need this one, the Karazuri block. She'll need this color block. So we're okay here. I mean, just simply, I'll have done what I can do. She'll get started with the other parts, the key block. And then when I do finish this, 10 o'clock or so, whatever, I'll take it upstairs. So we're okay. This is no dramatic, I don't want to over-dramatize anything. Just I told her I'd be finished this morning. And I'm not quite finished, so, but no tragedy here. Am I off the camera? I know what will happen actually, I'm going to do this, try to get through, finish by 9:30. Dei-chan's coming in a few minutes. I'll do this, we'll get the stream finished. Hi, goodbye everybody, thanks, see you later, bye-bye next week. I'll open my email, and there'll be an email from Dei-chan saying, I don't feel well today, I'll come in tomorrow. Well, I know something else I meant to mention today. I know I got an email, a not junk email, what am I talking about? A mass mailing email from Jed. Jed sent out something last night. I guess most of you have probably seen it. Many of you have probably seen it. Jed's page on his own website, ukioheroes.com. Jed's website now is full of woodblock prints, not from me. He's really been going great guns, and there's a couple of new prints there from Stephen Winiecki, who I still haven't met actually, but seems to be doing really, really well. That Hasui print, little Hasui production they did, is very, very nicely done. I'm hoping that they all look that good and they just haven't found a good one and scanned it, and the rest I don't know. But there's cool stuff there. Maybe you guys have already been talking about this, I don't know, on Jed's website, ukioheroes.com. Oh, did I look into Toriyama Sekian at all? I did. After you posted this in the stream the other day, when I was eating lunch, I looked at this. And I'm a bit confused. This person is a painter. When they're talking about ukiyo-e, a lot of times there's confusion about who are craftsmen and who are painters. The person you link to seems clearly to be a designer. And on the Wikipedia page, there's stuff like he invented bokashi and stuff like, and I'm like, wait a minute. And we're talking about bokashi is a technical thing that would be developed by craftsmen. A designer might come up and say, like in painting, they do it all the time, dark to light, and the painters might have said to the craftsman, like, can you do this? So bokashi as a printing technique would have been developed by craftsmen based on requests from designers, I guess. And then on that Wikipedia page, it mentioned he invented fukibokashi. Fukibokashi, there's two words for fuki. Fuki is blow, and fuku is wipe. And normal bokashi we do sometimes we wipe pigment off. So that's a craftsman's technique. Fuki bokashi, it's airbrushing. What do? They get a machine out with air and whatever, and you can do dark to light. And in the old days, without airbrushing, it was done with blowing with straws and stuff like this. So I suspect that there's a bunch of things being confused here. That man is a designer, painter, who may have invented or worked with this thing where you blow and get gradations in your painting. But what the connection is with printmaking, I don't know. This is the part now that's going to chew up the time, of course. All this little stuff inside here all has to be straightened out. There's no way I'm going to be done by 9:30, but we'll be done this morning. It's okay, Ditch. I'm looking for something to do. Okay, moving in closer. Okay, let's get to the edges. Where are we? Are wood shavings ever? Do I find them in my beard? No, I don't, but I find them other places. It's okay. You see, gather up the wood shavings and sell them. It's funny. I didn't gather them up and sell them. But when I was working back in Ome, I built the new bench. It would be the year 2000, 2001. I built my new workbench in Ome. The first time I'd had a legs down bench. Just as I'm sitting on a platform, and the wood scraps and wood shavings now just go underneath. Chip, 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 chip. And they get cleaned up once in a while. Now in Ome there, I was in a big bay window, and it was cold, cold, cold. Before I got the room finished and the insulation put in, it was cold. So what happened was I'd put the wood shavings underneath, so the wood shavings, carve another one next month, carve another one next month, wood shavings go underneath. And the pile of wood shavings underneath, I'd get my feet, put them under the wood shavings, and kept my feet warm. It was really, really cool. That went on for a couple of years. And then one day, Sadako, my girlfriend slash partner slash whatever, she was at that time heavily into gardening. And she saw something in her garden research, whatever, that said the best fertilizer for your garden is ash made from burning cherry wood. She'd seen this commentary. So that was that. We got the cherry shavings underneath my bench, put them all in boxes, threw them in her car and took them over there. And I started again. Whatever, collecting again still. And actually it's funny, she did it. She put the cherry wood in a pile in the middle of her garden and then set it on fire and took the ash and spread it around, And I don't remember the exact course of the conversation, stuff like this, but it must have come some while ago, or the next year came or something. And I said, oh, by the way, do you want some more of the cherry ash, cherry pieces, And she's like, whatever. So I guess it hadn't either done anything spectacular, or I don't know what she expected it to do. I don't know, but and after that she said, no, don't bother, it's okay. So I don't know, as hearsay, cherry ash is good for gardens or whatever, I don't know, but why cherry would specifically be better than any other kind of tree, I can't say. So. Zoom in a bit more, I guess, can we? I miss working back there in that room. You know, it was so much fun, so pleasant. The windows and the river outside, and I could play music totally so loud I couldn't even hear myself think. Because it's all just concrete, isolated from other people. So. It's still there. It's still waiting for me. So. I talking about in past tense. It's still there, I have a woofer, a bass woofer. All the time I was growing up as a kid, I never had good hi-fi stuff because just whatever. Our family wasn't into that sort of stuff. But so when I got independent finally at us in that room, I wired up not just for electricity and for lights and stuff. I wired for speakers as well, and they're still there. There's 4 different speakers, and then there's a bass woofer under the platform that has the carving bench, and you can feel it. You can feel it. The woofer is underneath where the carving bench is, hidden away. And when you bump that, the speakers at the back, and the room is a box, but it's got angled sides, so it really, really works well. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful little room for audio. And with that woofer underneath, it was the first time in my life that I'd ever had such a thing, and I just cried with pleasure. It was so cool. Until you've tried that, until you've tried it, That's one of the things too, when you start listening to music with a bass woofer in place, that's when you realize, MP3s and stuff, just how bad they are, audio-wise, When we listen to music like on the Mac speakers here, stuff like this, the fact that it's an MP3, whatever, is no big deal. But when you listen to it on a system, that's when you realize just how much we lose by having most of our music encoded as MP3s these days. How's the time? 9:15. It's show and tell time, isn't it? What are we going to do here? Okay. No, clearly I can't finish this by 9:30. So. Let's do it. I did prepare a show and tell. I'm close enough to this. Ray Chan can understand. I'll be finished soon. The Chosen Prince. Something had arrived yesterday. Man, have I missed most of this chat here today? I've missed most of this chat. Okay, this will be fine. What is it left? 15 minutes left. It's okay. It's okay. I'll do this. Let's have our show and tell. This, the stuff we're going to show here, this was an auction that came up a week or so ago. Actually came up a few weeks ago, and the person had it listed. And it was too expensive. So nobody nibbled, nobody nibbled, nobody nibbled. But the way Yahoo auctions work is after it goes around and nobody buys, it just stays up. I guess it's a setting, and the guy had set it so that it just stayed up. And it went around once or twice or three times. So the guy got the idea, okay, it's obviously not going to sell at that price. So he started dropping the price. And he didn't just drop a little, he dropped it a lot. And bang, I jumped in there and grabbed this. I've got this, but I don't have it. You can see there's English here. The Japanese is Edo Kinko Hakke. Hakke, we know what this means, right? 8 views. This is an 8 views. And this is an unusual, and it is published by Gihachiro Okuyama. He's a guy who was a designer himself. He published his own designs, Shinhaga type, and he also did reproductions of ukiyo-e prints. He hired different carvers, just people, carvers and printers who were out and around town. He hired them to do his own prints, limited editions, and he hired them to do reproductions as well. And what we have here, they didn't make too many, so this is actually quite rare. We have the Adachi set of this Hiroshige series, and now we have the Okuyama set to compare. And he's long dead now. He'd be older than my father. He's long dead now. He posed himself in the same way that, what's the guy's name? Hashiguchi Goyo did back in the Taisho era. He also sponsored ukiyo-e reproductions, and he put himself in as we are doing it the way it was in the old days. Our reproductions are better than anybody else's, blah, 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 blah. And Okuyama-san did the same thing. He posed his stuff in the market as being, there's never been anything like this ever made. That's actually not true. His stuff is okay. So, Saiko Seisaku, it's the best possible craftsmanship that's ever been done. Saiko, the best. Couldn't be better. We'll see. This is the first time I've had his stuff. I've seen them one by one in the market. To give a reference, if somebody there can do this, somebody there can do this. If you go to the Moko Hankan collection, this same series, Edo Kinko Hakke, is in there 3 times already. So the prints are in our collection in reproductions from the Taisho, mid-Showa, and late Showa. And now we're going to add to this by having Okuyama-san. So this is Hakke, 8 views. And he has numbered them in a different sequence than I did mine. Number 1 here, he's put, which one is this? This is Evening Glow. And there is no traditional order. Anyway, just a minute. There's questions, but hang on a second. Let me try and get to this. And these are actually okay. They're not, I think, as good as the best Adachi ones, but they are not so bad. What are we going to do here? Put them right side up for you, I guess. They're sort of too big here, but let's try and get this. And he never puts his craftsmen's names on, so I have no idea who made these. Oh, I've been caught in a lie. Craftsmen's names. Look at this. He never puts these on. Never puts these on. Oh, no way! He never puts these on. This can't be right. Anyway, here it is. Okay, we have them here. Resting with the camera. I need a cameraman. Hori, carver. Ito Shinsui. Ito Susumu. Ito Susumu. It's Ito-san. Our Ito-san. Look at this. I wonder when he did this. He must have done this when he was quite young. Here it is. It says Horishi Ito Susumu. Surishi is Onodera. Is that Kenji? I don't know this person. He must have gone before I got here. I never knew an Onodera printer. But this is, look at this. Ito-san. Our own Ito-san. He must have been young because this is, well, I say young, it's post-war. He would have been, I mean, I knew him when he was in his 80s. He would have been in his 40s, I guess, just mid-career then. Look at that. It's carved by Ito-san. What a treasure. For those of you who are following the mystery of the sales, and again, this is too long a story to tell here, but this particular Hiroshige design, when people make reproductions of it, they're never quite sure what to do with this. And sometimes Adachi has done this both ways. You can see the background, the shape of the mountain, you can see it through the gaps in the sails, and the one in the middle, you can't. And the presumption is that this is where the mast is, and it's the mast that is blocking the view. And if that's the case, just why this line should be there and why this line should be there is kind of open question. But I don't know. We don't know. Adachi has sometimes done it both ways. Adachi sometimes did it with the mast here, and Adachi sometimes did it with the opening, like we do on this boat. It's open all the way through. And the presumption is that the mast would be in the gap between these sails. The mystery of this was solved long ago. There were sails like this. They were not loose ribbons. They were sewn together in loose sewing. So the sail held together as a sail shape. If you did it like this with no string, the thing would just flap into crazy. So that's why I said the mast. The presumption here, the mast is hidden by the sail. Here, the mast is visible. But some of the Adachi prints, they have played it both ways. It's nice. The calligraphy is done here. It's a bit heavy-handed compared to some of the nicest editions. There are 3 poems on each one of these prints. And some of the publishers actually left the poems off. In the original Hiroshige publications, the researchers tell us it was published with poetry first, and then the blocks were sold to somebody else, and the poems were carved off. And it left the designs really unbalanced. Hiroshige balanced things well, and when you take these away, it looks really, really funny with too much bottom-heavy detail and not enough in the sky. Let's move on. This is so far, I'm happy with that one. Very nice, very nice, very nice. But I'm really surprised. I've never heard of Okoyama-san putting the craftsmen's names on this. One more print for our upcoming Ito-san exhibition. One day, one day, one day. Number 2. We can't go through all of them here, but let's just take a look at a few of these. We will, of course, be shooting these and putting them into the collection. So, is this also Ito-san? Let's have a look. Carver's names. Look at this. I've never seen Carver's names. This is not Ito-san. Who is this? Nakagawa Chushichi. I've never heard this name. Never heard this name. Again, this stuff was published before when I was a little kid, so long before I came to Japan. So I don't know most of these people. I know Nakagawa Mokure. This is Nakagawa, I'm guessing, Chushichi. I'll have to look in Doi-san's database. And the printer, same printer, Onodera-san. So maybe, Okoyama-san used a bunch of different carvers and printers from around town. This, of course, is the evening snow seen from whenever you see a hakke, whenever you see 8 views. The previous one was evening glow. This is evening snow. And it's the triangle thing, the standard composition of the triangle. And this is a real place, but the real place, it's funny, there's nowhere near that height. The hill, when you see it in real life, is only about half what you see here in real life. We have got to get these. Yeah, we did a photograph session yesterday, so it's not going to be soon. So next time Watanabe-san comes, maybe a couple of weeks from now, we will shoot these and get them into the... Could the mountain have become smaller? I guess. Would it erode? But the same marker is still up at the top there, Here's Clearing Weather, which we've put at the end of our series. Who carved this one? Are they all different carvers? Let's have a look. Oh, no name. This is what I expect from his stuff. He doesn't put the carvers' names on. Nicely done. Look at this. Nicely done. Look at the gradation here. Look at the sky. I mean, there's nothing real about this. We see sunset colors, orange and stuff, but not like this. Are you ever going to see orange up there going to a yellow, going to a blue, going to a purple with blue behind it? Don't much care. It looks cool. Oxford boat race happening. And no carved printers' names. I'm very nice, very happy to get this. It was a bit more expensive than I wanted. I went for it. It was 15,000 yen for the 8 prints. Which is fine, Very nice, very beautiful, smooth printing. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful printing. It's almost as good from the back as it is from the front. Still way cheaper than Mocha Hong Kong. Yes, so I don't know what this would have cost when it was new though, remember. The price we pay for it on auction now doesn't have to pay carvers and printers, so. That's a kind of a paradox, you know. So it's kind of it's not embarrassing for me, it's real life. We can buy prints like this that I cannot possibly make for anywhere near that price. Buy them in the used market, and it just shows how underpriced this stuff is these days. $150 for less, $135 or so for this set. 8 beautiful, beautiful prints. Again, no carver printers' names. I wonder why just 2 of them had this. This is the Tama River. Very, very famous. Very, very famous image. One of Hiroshike's most famous images. Good, nice, high-quality gradation. They've used, I think, aluminum for the snow, because it's still a bit for the moon, because it's still actually shiny in the middle. See it there? It's shining a bit there. I think it's a cheap shot to use metallic powder for that, but whatever. Nice, nice, nice. Good. This is a good find. I'm happy with this. Very nice. Let's just have a look at one more. Then I have got to get busy back on that block. They're in a different order from ours. Oh, they've also stopped numbering. Look at that. They had numbers on them. And then they didn't have numbers on them. I wonder if this is an actual original set. I don't know. Let's look at one more. Okay, one more before I get out of here. Okay, look at this. It's the Evening Rain. It's got a carver printer too. It's a repeat. This is Nakagawa. Same thing. Nakagawa Chushichi. And Surishi Onodera Kenji. I'm curious if this is a mix of different sets. The packaging looks to be the same toning. It's beat up the same way. The paper is about the same age. The internal packaging is all the same. So if it's different sets mixed together, I'm guessing it will be the publisher himself who has mixed different things from his drawers, put them in to make up a set. This would not be something mixed together by a consumer. This would be Okoyama-san himself putting different prints into the package. Nicely made. I'm very happy. Nicely made. Reasonable price, good quality, no foxing. And a special bonus, one of the prints is made by, or one or more, who knows, is made by Ito-san. We're preparing another video. The Ito-san videos we've done, we've had part 1, we've had part 2. Part 3 is coming. It's not on my desk soon. It's going to be showing some of the wood blocks he carved. It'll be, hopefully, if she is okay for it, it'll be an interview with his daughter. And then we're going to show a whole bunch of prints that he carved. But that's not happening soon. It's months and months and months down the road. All right, I think we'll call it there. There are 4 more prints in this package, but I really, as you know, I have really got to get back to work on that thing. I'd like to get it finished before Dei-chan comes today. Okay, it's been a bit of a non-attentive stream for me today. I'm sorry. There's lots I haven't seen. I will check it at lunchtime and try and remember, if I can, any questions for answering for next time. Also, I'm not sure what I'll be doing next stream, because this carving job will be finished and I don't have another one teed up yet. Think of something. We'll think of something. Well, maybe we'll have a 90-minute show and tell. I don't think so, but we'll find something. Okay, I don't have my mask. I was in such a rush this morning. I don't have my mask. What I do have is a cup of yogurt. This is my breakfast. Enough. I got to get out of here. See you Monday morning. 2 days minus 90 minutes. I'll see you then for another something stream, Japanese woodblock printmaking. Thanks for the cooperation. Thanks for the friendship. And I now have to get out of here and get back to work. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for watching. No mask. I forgot my mask. Pretend.